Sugar! Sugar!
Sugar, oh honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you.
Okay, Armstrong versus Pantani versus Geraint Thomas. Who would be faster? I can guarantee you that Geraint Thomas would smoke Lance, and he would smoke Pantani. Definitely. And I'll show you exactly why. I'll show the numbers. I'll show the stats. All right. So here you have Lance Armstrong. Look how slow they're going, really. I mean, compare them to today. How fast today they ride up some of these climbs. I mean, it's sort of... It is quite interesting. All right, so here we have Rominger. This is the time up the Madone. This is the testing ground for professional cyclists. All right, if you're anyone who's anyone, you do a time at the Madone. Rominger used to have the record 31:30. Then Lance did a 30:47. Froome did a 30:09, and Port did a 29:40. So we know that even Richie Port is faster than Froome up a climb in terms of pure climbing ability. But we know that Froome and Port are both faster than Lance. All right, so Geraint Thomas is even faster still, as you saw in this year's Tour de France. Geraint Thomas dropping Chris Froome. So we are seeing today's generation of riders faster, way faster than Lance. Lance was faster than Pantani. When did Pantani ever beat Lance up a climb? Except for the time the Lance gifted Pantani wins. So Geraint Thomas would smoke Pantani. Now, some people might be quick to go, oh, but what about up out the West? The times aren't as fast. It's like, well, you can't compare racing times to racing times because conditions are different. There might be rain, there might be sun, it might be hotter, it might be colder. Maybe they smashed every single climb on the way there. So the riders these days, the racing's harder because they hold the watts for longer. They hold the watts versus just racing the last climb. They go hard every climb and hold that average watt right up there. So that causes the last climb of the day to be slower. But what we do know is that Richie Port is faster than Lance Armstrong. In training, he's faster than Lance Armstrong. And a training climb is the most objective because there's no drafting. The wind conditions, the weather conditions are going to be pretty similar, especially for the Madone, which is a pretty sheltered climb. So the fact that Richie Port can beat Lance Armstrong, it says a lot that how fast these guys are going today. So Pantani, in the hurt box. Look at in this race, Lance is waiting for him. So Pantani wouldn't have nothing on Geraint Thomas. And we see that even today in these colder Madone times that Port beats Armstrong. Chris Froome winning Tour de France. We're seeing Geraint Thomas here beating Chris Froome. So we've got Geraint Thomas is the new Pantani, the new Lance in one, and the new Miguel and Durain. Even Geraint Thomas would beat Big... If it was the Tour de France today and it had Big Mig 1992 version, Big Mig 99 version Lance, and a 98 version Pantani, Geraint Thomas would still beat him. He'd still beat him. One, because he knows how to spin. He's got that cadence going on. He's got that cadence there. So Pantani didn't have that cadence. Needed Ulrich. So Geraint Thomas also faster than Ulrich. Look at this sprint. Look at the surge he's got. It's pretty impressive. This is in Adelaide. Lance also rode in Adelaide. I rode with Lance. I rode with Geraint Thomas. I've ridden with Contador, Froome. They're all pretty approachable dudes. Geraint Thomas, very approachable. Same Big T, Tom Dumoulin, very approachable. They all know my YouTube antics. But so Geraint Thomas would definitely flog Lance Armstrong. Would flog Pantani. There's no doubt about it. Geraint Thomas would flog Richie Port, who flogs Lance. Lance flogs Pantani. Chris Froome flogs them all as well. But then Geraint Thomas flogged Chris Froome this year. So, Port, Froome, Geraint Thomas, very similar level. Chris Froome has that incredible emotional stability, being able to deal with the haters. Imagine all the hate trying to win a Tour de France and having all these people spitting on you and trying to piss at you. It's pretty impressive. I'm not sure many riders can handle that level of social disapproval. So good on Chris Froome for doing so well. And he won the Giro earlier in the year. So crazy stuff. There's Geraint Thomas here. All that high cadence spinning taking it easy in the wet. I think this is the Glasgow Commonwealth Games, 2014, is it? And so look at him, like Lance putting time into everyone else behind. And this is, races would race differently back then. They were raced differently. Lance had control over the peloton. Now there's less control. You ask any pro rider, there's less control over the peloton. So they race it faster over roller speeds, the climbs, etc. But the last climb of the day is maybe a little bit slower than back in the 90s because they went hard in the first few climbs. So there's less glycogen left over to go extra crazy. So you can't compare outdoors time today to 20 years ago because things are raced differently. Tactics, weather, tyres, bikes are lighter, things like that. So what you can compare though is Richie Port, Chris Froome time on the Col de Lombardone against Lance. Lance had a super light bike, Rominger not so, but Lance had a super light bike, so did Port, so did Froome, and they still flogged Lance. So there you go. Lance, Pantani versus Geraint. Geraint would win every time. Every time.
Carbs, carb the fuck up, motherfuckers. Carb the fuck up. Corn, rice, potatoes, yams, bananas, mangoes, dates, plantain, melons, blueberries, blackberries, mulberries. Get them motherfucking carbohydrates in. Go vegan, motherfuckers. Carb the fuck up, the fuck up, the fuck up, the fuck up.